Hello and welcome to a very sunny, glorious Wilson Barts Canal. This isn't about the Wilson Barts Canal though, this is my first restoration update video. So the plan is going forward, every week or so I'm going to do a video where we can update what's going on, just little chunks from each canal restoration. So we start today on the Wilson Barts, but not in this section. This is Pewsham down here, but they've got some planning applications that are causing issues. One of which is near Melksham, on the Melksham Link. Now, the Melksham Link is a project that's been going on for some time. It's where they're planning to drop the canal into the river and back out. And they've got to take a whole new route around a village called Berryfield. Now, Berryfield residents, when the plans were announced, said, we don't want it to go around the village like it was planned to, let's take it through. So this is a project supported by the villagers, by everybody, by the council who've protected the route and all sorts. A developer has decided that they're going to put a development in which is going to build on the line of that new canal. So in the description, I'll put a link saying Berryfield development. Please do put your responses in there, please, and let's hope there are objections. The second one on the Wilson Barts Canal is the ongoing saga at the Oasis in Swindon. This was a leisure centre in Swindon which was famous for apparently naming the Oasis band and various other things. There was a big sports hall there and it was fantastic, known all over the country. People used to travel for miles. Now the Trust have a corridor going through there which is for the North Wilts Canal, which joins the Wilson Barts to the Cotswold Canals. That's still ongoing, so please do join the groups. I'll link them in the description and keep an eye on the progress of that and see if there's any objections you can make to that as well. So keeping on planning, this one's a positive one. The Shrewsbury Newport is currently blocked, so there's Norbury Wharf and the first lock to take you straight off the junction is being used as a dry dock. Now the plan is to now build a marina with a dry dock and boat facilities just to the side of it. It looks really exciting. It's a big old marina with nature in mind. There's an island in the middle of it and everything. So again, I'll put the links in the description and please do register, hopefully your support for this project. Then we go on to the Chesterfield Canal. The Chesterfield Canal are doing wonderful things, as you've probably seen on some previous videos of mine, and they have just released this big document. It's huge, going through all the sites, every single thing they need to do to restore this canal, from the boat lifts that they're planning or possible locks, there's several options, to the restoration in places like Kilmarsh, Renishaw, the puddle banks everywhere, as well as bits and pieces about what else is happening on the canal as well. There's lots of community hubs and various other things associated with these plans. The documents are huge and I've put a few overlays here, but it just doesn't do justice to what this absolute vision is that the Chesterfield Canal have brought out. Now this is going to be massive in time because it's going to mean they're going to be able to literally say to people, we need funding, this is the plan, and they have this whole canal planned out. So let's talk about the Lichfield quickly. They have got loads going on as always. There's been more concrete pads put down, more brickwork done to get them to Cricket's Lane. This is ahead of the bridge being built, so they're trying to steam on and get as much done as possible. I saw from Thoughts on Narrowboating with Nigel, they've just knocked down the manhole that was stood up in the middle of the canal channel. That's all gone as well now. He's a great channel, I'll link him in the description, do give him a sub as well. They've moved on as well, so there's lots of tree clearance that's been going on since my last video, whilst we can still clear trees. They've also laid a pad so they don't have to keep bringing mud onto the road at the Lock 24 area. And also London Road is now open so you can walk through there again, so they've filled in where they've been digging. You can still see little bits, so it's still worth a little walk up there if you can. Please do support the Trust if you can, they're doing fantastic work up there. That leads us on to the Buckingham Canal, who have had WRG forestry groups coming in and they've been clearing the canal Cosgrove. Again, lots of stuff happening at the moment on canals is any tree clearance and stuff like that, because soon nesting season starts and they can't do it, so they have to get it out of the way. A lot of these trees were leaning over and were quite dangerous, so they needed to be cleared. And then onto the Rochdale. We spoke quite recently on a video about the Rochdale and about the plans to potentially sort of take the canal back up through the branch of that and up to the industrial estate up there and through to the commercial area, past the station and stuff. Now, it's a very easy project with a little bit of land ownership issues, but not much. But £20 million has just been announced to develop this long abandoned plot of land where there were several wharfs and basins up there. It doesn't seem to include the canal. So please do keep an eye on that. I'll show it on my channels when the time comes, but we need to object to these plans. £20 million is a lot of money, and that's what was missing from being able to do this development, because apparently it wasn't going to make money. Let's put a canal in there, let's put 20% on top of the properties, everybody wins. Nature wins, people's health and well-being wins, and the developers win because they make more money. On the Monty, we've got more work going on. Now, if you remember, the last lot of work they did was to fill the sections that they concrete blocked and put the lining in. They had money left over over from that, and they were told they could keep it. So they'd come in much under budget for what they'd had for the funding, and they've now been able to carry it on to another section as well. So they've been laying all those blocks over, I think it's this weekend, and I don't think it'll be long before they are at Schoolhouse Bridge. Hopefully we'll see that small section in water again soon. We're just in the one of the wildflower meadows, obviously still a bit green. This is one of the many managed by the trust along sort of this section and other sections, and eventually will form a bee highway all the way down the entire length of the canal. So on to some potentially sadder news on the Mon and Breck. CRT have announced that they can't afford to pay the fees that are now needed for water. So the water comes from the river there at the end in Brecon. It basically goes through like a weir and stuff there and feeds the canal. Now they had to say recently how much water they were using, but I don't think it's historically been measured. So instead of actually saying, okay, well, they gave a range which they needed, and basically the Welsh government have only allowed them the smallest amount they're allowed. Anything else they've got to pay quite a lot for. And the reality is they cannot afford to pay that money. It's going to mean, because it's only a small navigation, 34 miles, it's going to mean massive increases for boaters. CRT have done everything they can. They've really worked on this, and this is not CRT's fault. This is something that we need to go to the Welsh Government for. Welsh Government offer no funding at all for the canal, not a penny. So there are no real reservoirs up that way. All the water's come from the River Usk and some streams and stuff. And natural resource Wales are the ones that are kind of restricting this. The CRT lost the appeal, they couldn't get any more water, so now we need to find ways. Now they refuse to acknowledge that the canal and the river alongside each other are joined ecosystems, despite the fact that throughout the whole of the canal in different places, the river runs into it and the canal runs back into the river. Now these streams all have the same species, they're all parts of linear corridors, and this should be classed as one ecosystem. So this is a real problem, and I'm going to make a bigger video on this, but let's just keep an eye on this now if we can. Follow the IWA, there's people there that are appealing this, are appealing everything at the moment that I spoke to in this video. Please do support them and follow them if you can. So I need your help on this as well. So if I carry on with these videos, I'm going to need to know what's happening wherever I possibly can. So if you want your canal trusts, societies or local canals to be involved in this, then please do put comments in the video. Send me emails, my email is in the description, and let's talk about areas, and I would love to cover all the canal trusts, even the small ones, the big ones, all of them. So yeah, keep me informed of everything going on, and we can make these videos a bit more of a regular thing, showing what's happening across our wonderful network. So thank you for watching, have a great day.